and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and it is time to do the last section of this Heaven and Earth design before the ANZ event. Fun times. Oh, don't go sleep on me. Come on. So yeah, it is time to do another section, very close to finishing the row, but not quite there yet. I think there's this one, and then I think there's one more, but with the fat extra part at the end. Let's get that back in the middle. So yeah, not long until we'll have completed the first row. Whether I get any of that done over Christmas break, who knows? We shall see. But let's zoom you in, scoot you down so you can see what it is that I'm doing. And I'm going to start with 310 again. And then I'm going to go through my numbers and then finish with all the white, a bit like what I've done the last few weeks. So I need a gap of 4, including that number. Now in relation to using these numbers on the Ever Moment, and what I've just noticed when I've done this, I was kind of getting used to it, the numbers, and including them in the grid. But what I've just realised, and what my inside my brain has just done, is it's taken me a minute to process, because I have kitted up Woodland Winter for the Diamond Art Studio chart to art painting, for my diamond painting WIP, basically, for December, because I'll be working on I'll be working on the Add More Zest event paintings throughout December. So I've kitted that one up to be the painting that I work on outside of filming. And on that chart, I need to ignore the symbols around the edge, because it's only the inside of it that I'm actually doing, and then I use the symbols as a normal diamond painting, and that is confusing my brain at the moment. So we shall see how it goes. Hopefully I won't make a mess up on the numbers, or indeed make a mess up when I work on my Diamond Art Studio later today and actually end up including those as part of the pattern, because that's not the idea. But yeah, I just thought that was funny, little bit going through my brain that makes me think a little bit differently about them. But yeah, so far they're not too bad. I am kind of getting used to them. I just think maybe mixing the two of them is not necessarily going to be the best thing for me. At least I'm not flipping between the two of these lots. It's just really today is the only day that I'm sort of mixing them together. After that, I will be just working on the Diamond Art Studio one until it's finished. And then, depending on time-wise, I will either kit up floral, or if there's not much time before our event finishes, then I might do some of this. Sort of play it by ear. Right, I've gone from doing that whole section across 2 to just sticking to 1 square for now, because we've got a lot more diamonds in these So sometimes I stick to the inside a certain square grid lines, and other times I move out of them, depending. But anyway, I hope everybody is having a fantastic week, getting everything done that they want to get done is always good. I'm trying to think if I have any major updates, but I don't think I do. Hubby is off work this week. He's actually been replacing some window locks and stuff today. It's been a job on our to-do list for the past few months, but the place that sells them is only open through the week. So the last time hubby was off, we completely forgot about it and therefore didn't pick any up. But yeah, it's been picked up, so hopefully we can get those changed, because there's nothing wrong with the actual windows themselves. So we're hoping we get quite a few more years out of them. Would be nice, because who wants to go to that expense if they can help it? Anyway, comments, etc. Let's go on to comments and things. Let's get close-ish ready for the AMZ event. Hopefully I don't get too far behind, but we'll see. If not, it'll give me a chance to do a nice big amount of a WIP come December, January. But Helen, she says she didn't enjoy the Richard Osmond books either. She says Thursday Murder Club. She says she didn't understand the hype around it. Maybe she said it's because he's a famous comedian. It wasn't awful, she says, but she didn't enjoy it. Yeah, and I think sometimes I find that. Sometimes I think it can be depend on how much something's hyped up. Like sometimes the more it's hyped up, the more you expect from it. Rather than just being able to, you know, take it for what it is and make your own decision. Can sometimes make things trickier. Dimitri says, hey Rebecca and Zesties. Says she forgot to watch this video before the other one, but they love my videos so much. Said your personality is so sweet and motherly. You're like a zesty mother for all of us. Big love and shalom. Oh, thank you so much for your kind words. I do love doing these videos. It brings me joy when I get to escape into here and chat to you all and see what the topic of conversations for the day are going to be. Darcy says, good morning, Rebecca. Said we are dealing with rain and we really need it. Well, that's good if you need it. In the UK, I don't think we're ever really too short of it, though I'm sure farmers would disagree on certain years. But yeah, it's not been too bad recently. So just wanted to let you know that they have received their order. It's kitted up and waiting to start. Perfect. And we've not got, get my words out straight, not got long now. Sunday is the day, and we get to start doing the Add More Zest event. Very excited. It's also advent calendar time, so get to open advent calendars as well, which is going to be great fun. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to auditings that we get to do. Marilyn says she's purchased her first Heaven and Earth design chart and her drills and her canvas. She's a little nervous about it, but she has also purchased Pattern Keeper and she's hoping that she's going to do okay with it. I am sure you will do fine. Pattern Keeper is it makes it so much easier. From doing a Heaven and Earth design without Pattern Keeper, I started with paper at the beginning, and you can do it with paper. My mum did one section a day, so, or at least one section a day, possibly more, but basically one square, and she did it with paper. And she actually finished before me, so it definitely can work. But I do love Pattern Keeper, especially because sometimes it finds symbols that you're just not seeing, and it very much saves you dipping in and out of pots because you miss some. She says she's enjoying watching mine come to life. Thank you. That is the benefit of doing the likes of a Heaven and Earth design or a chart to art, is you get to see it come to life as you do it. You don't already know what you're doing because the canvas is blank. And that's why I love them. Mystery ones can still be good in the same sort of way, that you're seeing things come together. However, with mystery ones, sometimes you do get sort of that rough idea outline of what something is, whereas on a blank one, you really don't know until you're putting them down, and that's when you might get an oversight to it. Lady Dax, hi all. She says, well, today they replaced the damaged sink with another new shiny new sink. Perfect. She says, so the only thing now, she says, well, the only thing they actually want now is them to replace the part of the new worktop that was damaged with a new piece. She says anything else, she says they will fix themselves, but they're actually loving it if they don't look too closely. Well, I'm so glad it worked out in the end, because that sounds like the biggest nightmare kitchen fit you can have. And having a new kitchen fitted disrupts you enough as it is. Like, it's amazing how much stuff is in a kitchen, and to try and set up a temporary sort of kitchen is not entertaining. Frankly, it's not. It's not fun. It needs to be done, but it's still not fun. So yeah, I'm so happy that things are loads better. Tiffany, she says she can't find where to become a member. She says she's from New Zealand. She says if that makes any difference. I don't think New Zealand makes any difference. It may make a difference on how things are displayed, but most of my videos do have a link in the description part. So if you go to my description and hit more, especially if you're on mobile, it can take a minute to find where the description is. But I do tend to put a link in there on pretty much all videos, I think. There might be the odd one that's sort of missed off, but I think I've tried to put it on, or make sure it's on all of them. Debbie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she has received the downloads for the charts from Diamond Art Studio. She says, but she can't get them on Pattern Keeper because they're JPEG and not a PDF. She says she's contacted Diamond Art Studio and they have said that they're not fully Pattern Keeper compatible. She says even if we convert it to a PDF, as the PDF needs to be multi-layered, which their software cannot support. Yes, it's very, very weird how I don't even quite know myself how Pattern Keeper need it. I just have figured out how to get my software to export a PDF that is compatible. I don't know what makes it compatible. I just happen to have found a way to export it that it is compatible. She says, you should be able to mark off what you've done on Pattern Keeper, but it won't highlight all the colours of one symbol. She says, have you done it with your card? So a couple of things in relation to that. One, I did go for importing the JPEGs, and you have to basically stretch the grid onto the picture so that Pattern Keeper can see what is the individual squares. It won't then let you search for like each individual colour, but it will let you mark off squares that you've completed. So it's a bit like, instead of having to use a pencil on the paper chart, excuse me, it will let you mark them, so you can at least track where you've done. However, I have been working with Sam after getting our Admiral's Zest event to work and to get it to export to something that is suitable for Pattern Keeper. I have worked, and markup in turn, it works on them both. I have worked with Sam from Diamond Art Studio, and some of them we have been able to chart into PDFs. Sort of working on the rest, but it's not a quick process. So keep your fingers crossed, your eyes on Diamond Art Studio's page, and they will be announced as soon as that is ready for you to be able to use. And I'm going to continue working with them on the rest, and then, as with anything, it's sort of a process, a learning process, a learning curve. You know, there's all sorts of steps that go into creating PDFs, and of course it's not just one PDF, it's 25 PDFs. So it's just something that takes time, and both myself and Sam are, you know, quite busy a lot of the time, and we do prioritise it to a certain extent, but there are other priorities that do need to go above it, like getting out orders and things like that. So do stay tuned, there is one coming if you can hang on, and we'll get them to you as soon as possible. I have actually been messing with the Woodland Winter, and I have been testing it and giving it a go, and it does search for the symbols, etc. So fingers crossed we can get going with the rest of them as soon as possible as well. So yeah, stay tuned on that front. Tiffany, she says, as for seasons, she says her favourite season would be summer. She says, as a horse owner, she says she absolutely despises spring. Oh, what makes it different to despise spring as a horse owner? Like, I'm guessing there's some sort of element of spring that makes it worse. I'm just wondering what that is, because I'm nosy and I don't really know anything about horses apart from they're big and you drive past them slowly. That's about my extent. So yeah, do let me know what it is about horses and spring that don't go together. Debbie, she says, Rebecca, she says, can you tell my 4 daughters, she says, to stop having babies? She says she is 59 years old, and she has 13 grandchildren, with number 14 due in May. She says she must have changed hundreds of nappies. Her husband is 78 and still changing nappies and doing school runs. Sorry, let me make sure I get that one in the right place. She says, but the worst thing is her diamond painting time is practically 0 hours. Goodness me. Right, I'm trying to work that out now. 14. Oh, okay, so 3 or 4 between each of them. See, I had 4, and you, of course, have had 4 daughters. So you kind of can't moan at them much until they hit 4. If they go over 4, maybe you've got a case, and we'll both tell them to pack it in. The other thing is, you know, just tell them no to babysitting. Like, me and hubby didn't have babysitters for hours when we were younger. Very, very rarely, on occasion, his mum would babysit. But she didn't have the best of health, so it wasn't something that we asked for often at all. So yeah, I worked evenings, he worked days, and that was sort of how we got things done until they were older. But yeah, maybe you just have to have a cut-off time that Nana or Grandma or whatever you go by is no longer available. Say 7 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock at night. If you do help take care while they're working, maybe you go, okay, from 7 o'clock onwards, we are no longer available. And that is your diamond painting time. That, and teach the grandkids to help clean up so you can get your housework done. Or at least the bare minimum housework done so that you can switch off and diamond paint. Trudy, she says she really enjoyed her weekend away. She said, and yes, her hubby watched TV. She says she thinks she has watched every episode of Police Inspectors now. Love it. Love it. My hobby varies from watching YouTube videos to watching, you know, TV series or something, or depending on what's out. Sometimes I'll half listen, and sometimes I'm like, nah, where's my audio book? Put that on. But you know what? He can have the TV. I am more than happy either with just the background noise or putting my audio book on and listening to that instead. Keeps me going. Right, why have I got one there that's just dropped? I don't think that's one I need. It's not from this one, so I'm going to keep it up the top there. And if I find I'm missing a pale grey of some sort, I'll deal with it then. But for now, I'm going with, I don't think I need it. Okay, 415. Move along the bus. Dimitri says, hey, Rebecca and Zesties. Thank you so much for the video. Said they loved it so much. Next Friday, they have the keys to their new apartment. Yay. New. It's like having a rearrange sometimes. That's my version of a new place, is a rearrange of things in my house. To then make me feel like it's new, even though it is not. Still better than moving, in my opinion. But yeah, I wish you all the best. At least it's an exciting time, even if it is a crazy time. Nellie says, hi Rebecca. She says, thank you for showing me how you put your mini beautiful light picture on your tablet. She said she is painting elves, but she has trouble. She says that the beads slide. Okay, so if you have diamonds that slide around quite a lot, if it's a poured glue canvas, so the ones with the clear cover on, it may be that the adhesive hasn't cured enough. Like it wasn't cured enough before they put the cover on. So the ideal fix for that is to take all the cover off and leave it in the air for like 24 hours before you cover it up again. Couple of things to note. Of course, you do need to make sure that it is put somewhere that it won't get stuff put on it, because you don't want anything sticking to it. And second, when you do take the clear cover off, make note of which way you put it down, because they are not double-sided. And if you try to put it back on the wrong way, you may find it sticks too hard to the canvas itself. So try that and see if that helps. Henny's says, hi Rebecca, says they are born March the 1st and their favourite season is summer. They've said, have a great weekend, great week, zesties. Sorry, not weekend, week. Either way, the weekend is included in the week. So we're encompassing a lot there. Right, just had a couple that didn't need my tray because there was only like 2 or 3 of them. So it's not worth tipping them into the tray to tip them back out again. But it's definitely worth it when I've got more. Blossom Chops. She says, Anastasia, she said it was lovely. She said to hear the news about your pump. She said she is a type 2 diabetic. She says so she can relate to a lot of your mentioned suffering. She says she's so happy for you. Onward and upward, she says, and long may it continue. So true. So true. There are so many things that people battle with. Maybe that's a bit of a harsh word, but they battle with on a daily basis that are just part of daily life for them, like diabetics needing to take things, other health issues, whether it just be pain management, you know, things like that, arthritis, anything. There are many things that people have to deal with on a daily basis that just become normal to them because it's all, you know, they've ever known, or it's all they've known for a huge chunk of time. And sometimes that we forget, even the people who are dealing with it every day sometimes forget that there is another way to live. So it's so nice that you've managed to get a pump that shows you another way to live and another way to, you know, gain more joy in your life, which is great. Blossom Chops also says, she says, all this talk of MOTs made her check hers and she found it wasn't in her mobile calendar. She says, so thank you for that. Well, I'm glad you've got it in there to remind you when it does become due. Because seriously, I think there should be, you know, should be like tax. There should be a letter or an email sent to you just to remind you sometimes. I mean, sometimes if you use the same garage every time, then you can do it. But yeah, it's the one that's going to slip you up, if any, that's for sure. Bev, she says she tried Pattern Keeper. She said her Heaven and Earth design chart had no problem, imported no problem. She says, but her Diamond Art Studio chart to art didn't work. She says, I think they said it wasn't compatible, so she's going to work on them with markup. She says she hopes that my chart is compatible with Pattern Keeper so she can try it out ready, as she's not quite ready for a Heaven and Earth design chart yet. She says that one is going to be a cross stitch project. Yes, ours does work with Pattern Keeper. I have it on here. It works perfectly fine. It uses the same software that Heaven and Earth Design use, so it does import and it reads all the symbols, etc. Are all read, so I've worked on it completely the same way as this. That is also the way that we are redoing, or in addition we're doing the chart to art with Diamond Art Studio as well, so they will work the same way. The only big warning and the only thing we don't like, neither of us like this, is that once you import the chart and it reads all the pages and the button pops up for you to verify the chart, it will show you the finished picture. So of course on our chart it will show you what the picture looks like at the end of it, and on the chart to art it will show you each individual section. That's the part that we don't like. I know why they do it, because they do it for you to be able to check the image, but of course when you're doing one that is a surprise, it's a big spoiler. So do recommend, you know, by all means, get your chart, find your file, hit to import it, but then when the verify button comes up, get somebody else to do that part, if that makes sense. So if I show you, actually, might be easier. So if I go to open a new PDF, and if I go to open, let me go for our Advent one again. So I'm going to import it, and it's thinking about it. So it's reading all the pages, all that's fine. Reading the symbols, blah, blah, blah. We've imported your chart, great. When you hit that verify though, it will show you the final image. And that is the part that we don't like. So I'm going to move off camera, and it will literally pop up with the image, and it will pop up with a little arrow in the bottom corner to say next. And once you do that, then you only see the chart. So you only see the symbols, you can select all the symbols, etc. And it won't show it you once it's imported, it will show you the front page that I've made. So all of that side of things is good afterwards. So we do highly recommend getting somebody else to hit that verify button. So if you know, anybody you live with, anybody you know well enough to say, can you hit that button for me? We highly recommend that you get somebody to do that for you. Unfortunately, you can't load them all up ready. So it is ideal if you've got somebody that's going to be about for a bit. Because you can't import multiple charts at once and leave them at that verify stage. So yeah, that's the only time it might be tricky for somebody. With our event painting, of course, it's going to show you the full painting, because there's only one chart for it. So that one is a bigger spoiler. Otherwise, if you don't have somebody to import charts for you, when we have got them already for Diamond Art Studio, and they are all available, which as I say will take time, but once they're all ready and available, potentially if you haven't got anybody to import them for you, maybe you could import them when you get it, and then your brain will hopefully have forgotten before, you know, hit the buttons quick, and then hopefully, you know, you will have forgotten it all by the time you actually go to do it. But yeah, sort of can't turn that off, I don't think. I'd love to be able to turn that off, you know, just so that it could, you know, even just show the symbols the same as what you see on the piece of paper would be nice. But yes, Bev, ours works with Pattern Keeper, no problem at all. Just get somebody to hit that verify button for you, so it doesn't spoil the surprise. Roxy says she has just had to move house in the space of 2 weeks. A family of 6, including 2 toddlers. Goodness me, I don't even want to move a family of 6, including 6 adults. She said it's been crazy. I am not surprised. She says she is listening to me while unpacking clothes. She says, thank you for being a constant in crazy time. Oh, well, make sure you get some downtime for yourself. Prioritise the stuff that needs unpacking according to an easier life, a calmer life, and all the other stuff can wait, because you definitely need some time for yourself, especially if you've just had to move in 2 weeks. Amanda, she says, thank you once again, she says, for your WIP and waffles. She says she loves the feel of the community. She said it feels as though we're all around a table working on our WIPs and continuing our conversations. She says she appreciates that so much. Yes, and that's what I love about the WIPs. I love getting little updates on things that are going on. You know, conversations, snippets, random conversations about all sorts of different things that go on as well. I love it. It's the best part. And yeah, that's why I'm now glad I can do, well, 2 WIP and waffles a week throughout most months. And then I love it when it comes to the Admiral Zest Advent event and our June waffle, because then I get to do it every day and I get to catch up with what's going on. Julia, she says she feels like she has been gone forever. She says because she's been so busy, she said, and she hasn't been able to watch for a while. She says, but she's glad to be back on track with the waffles. Oh, hang on. Let me hit the right symbol. I can't do the whole page because it will do symbols I've not touched, but I can do the squares. We've got, looks like wings going on. Yes, good to have you back. Life does definitely get in the way quite often, especially when we don't necessarily want it to. But I hope everything's been good, even if it's been busy. Anastasia, she says, yes, she says she was likely born with stage 1. But due to unfortunate circumstances, she said she was unable to get diagnosed until 19. Oh, goodness me. She said, and she spent 10 years struggling to get the right doctors and medicines. Sounds like, oh, no wonder you're pleased with this pump. You know, it's one thing after another, especially if you're used to life without it, and then all of a sudden you've got to do all these things. She says the house is going well. She says they have found a house and have had their offer accepted. She said inspection went well. They're just finalising the paperwork and waiting on the property to be evaluated. She says their closing date is set for mid-December. Thankfully, they said they currently pay rent in a townhouse, so they can move slowly since they don't have to sell their own property. That process is just so much quicker already than the UK. Never mind anything else. Just the buying side of things is so much quicker. But yes, being able to move at your own sort of pace is a real big benefit, really, because otherwise it is just a full day of crazy and then weeks of trying to find your new normal. Whereas at least if you can move bit by bit, you can at least start to get things set up how you want them potentially, and then, you know, just switch. You could even spend the night in one house and spend the day in the other, until you've got everything moved over and how you like it. But yeah, that's one of my biggest things. Like if if I could move without having to have everything packed up and out of the house in one day, well, you can start packing earlier, but you get what I mean. If it wasn't a matter of moving in one day, it would possibly be something that would be considered more, but the whole move out process, just nah. Helen, she says, in regards to putting wrong diamonds together, she says it doesn't bother her all that much. She says she enjoys sitting there and sorting them out. She says, though she is ADHD, she says that make sense. So maybe it's just the gimmicky side of it all. If you had to do it on a daily basis, I'm sure the dopamine would wear off. She says she supposes she does have to be in the mood though. She says, does anyone remember, she says, the hammer beads that you would put on spiky plates, she says, and make beautiful designs by ironing them? She says she thinks she separated out all the colours more than the actual making. Yes, I do remember those, and you can actually get those in a big, huge tub, all mixed together, so you could sort out to your heart's content, from IKEA for a really, really cheap and reasonable price. So if you ever feel like having something like that, your version of a colouring book maybe, then yeah, IKEA is a good place to get a very, very big mixed tub. She says that could have been major procrastination to not tidy up her pigsty of a room though. The only time my room used to be tidy when I was a teenager was when I was supposed to be revising for my GCSEs. I would put on, at the time, a cassette tape on the English literature books that we had studied, and were going to be on our exam. There was some sort of magazine thing with the cassette tapes or something, and I would put those on and clean my room. Now, I did come out with an A for English literature, so maybe they actually helped more than I thought. But yeah, ended up with my best grade in English literature and actually had a tidy room, much to my mum's delight, because there were times it was an absolute pigsty. Cat Lady, she says she is watching this on the 23rd as she went to Wales for a visit and to drop off Christmas gifts. She says if they are in Cumbria next year, she says things will be very different. She says there is still a chance that they could be in for Christmas, but she's not holding her breath. That's the mindset to have. She says so she's playing catch up on her videos today and trying to warm the house back up. She says she likes the pen that I'm using on that day. Oh, I think it's this one. I think it's this rainbow one. This is my Grab 2 one at the moment for my Heaven and Earth design, because it has the zesty tray, which stops me tipping out too many beads at once or too many diamonds. But yeah, and it's a single placer, which I tend to single place all of this, so it works for me. Leah, she says she's using 2 back-to-back WIP and chats to work out what laundry from the dryer is fully dry and foldable. She says then what she can air dry for a couple of days and what may need to go back in. She said she doesn't watch videos in order, but she does watch every video eventually. Well, I'm glad I could keep you company on that boring task. Okay, I obviously didn't need that grey, so we'll get rid of that one. It's always good to have company when it comes to boring tasks to do. But there we go. I am all done on today's section. Let me close that. And yeah, we are Oh, wrong way. We are a little bit closer to finishing. So we've got a bit here. It's a little bit longer, but it won't reach the full end. But at least I'll know where my end point is once I get the next one done, which we'll see whether that is over Christmas or whether it's after Christmas for our next WIP and Waffle. But yes, join me on Sunday for the start of our Add More Zest event. I will continue reading through WIP and Waffle comments, keep going through. When we do the chart one, so the one with the paper chart or indeed pattern keeper, it actually works out the same size section as I do for my Heaven and Earth design. When it's divided into the 6, that actually ends up being the same size. So they will definitely be a longer WIP and Waffle. Some of them will be a bit quicker, of course, because they're a standard painting, but it'll be good to sort of mix it up each day, and then you can still watch them in order, but of course you can feel like you can catch up a little bit if you've got a bit behind. But anyway, yes, join us on Sunday for that. Lots more videos to come before then, because I am cramming in unboxings and logbooks and shop launch items for December. All those videos are getting crammed in before the event starts. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.